Stampers, it's Kim Vogel with the Basement Bunch Stampers, here for another terrific Tuesday video. Today I'm going to share with you a really cute and simple card that I created using some sponging techniques that I would like to share with you today. I think this card is perfect for graduation parties, inspirational cards. I know I've got a few open houses that I have to get cards in the mail to, and a couple that I am going to be attending later this month. And so I thought this would be a perfect card to use for those open houses. Now the stamp set that I am using today is called Enjoy Life. This stamp set's available in our new annual catalog, and I love it for all of the inspirational quotes and the fact that it's got a boy and a girl on here for making different cards for different kinds of occasions. So with that, I'm going to show you how I created this card. And I'm going to share with you some new ink pads that I used to create some of the sponging. The 4 ink pads I'm going to be using today are Balmy Blue, Highland Heather, Grapefruit Grove, and last but not least, Pineapple Punch. So we're going to be doing some sponging with those. So I'm going to get all of these pads opened. Now what I did in advance is I already heat embossed using black embossing powder, and I'm so excited to have that black embossing powder back because it was gone for a year and not available for purchase in our Stampin' Up! Catalog. In advance I did some heat embossing. Now that is simply done by using the Versamark ink and then dumping the embossing powder on top of it and heating it with a heat tool. To save time for my demonstration today though, I did do that all in advance, and I'm going to tell you what colors of cardstock I used and the measurements for the card itself. So I used a piece of the Grapefruit Grove cardstock. This is 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4 and folded in half, and that is our card base. And then I have 2 mats that I have cut. The black is cut 5 1/4 by 4, and then the Grapefruit Grove is cut 5 by 3 3/4. And then I did the piece of Whisper White that is down here at, I think it's 3.5 by 4 3/4, I believe. I'll have all the measurements on my blog. So in the description of the video will be a link back to my blog, but each one of these is just simply 1/2 inch smaller than the other, and they all will just layer up nice and neat together and form a really beautiful card. So with that, let's start getting the sponging done on this card. And I started first by using Old Olive, and that is one of them that I did not show you that I used in today's project. So Old Olive is what I'm going to start with, and I did that by sponging some grass down here on the bottom. Now I use our Stampin' Up! Sponges. These come 3 to a pack, and I cut them into 8s, and so that is what I use to do all of my sponging. And I'm just going to start here on the bottom and work in a circular motion and add some of the sponge technique down to the bottom of my project. And you can see that I'm actually pressing pretty hard to get some of that ink to come out onto my project. I'm not actually sponging, I'm doing that round circular motion technique, and that gives me a lot of good coverage down there on the bottom. Next, I want to share with you how I created the mountains on this, and this is so fun. So what I did is I took a piece of scrap paper, and I wanted it to be at least the size or the same width as the project that I'm sponging. And I'm just going to tear this back and forth and make it look kind of like it is a mountain, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold this over top of my project and add some sponging to that as well with the Highland Heather ink. So let me bring in that one, and I am just going to, again, using circular motion, incorporate this ink color next onto my project here. And you can see that I am actually applying a pretty good saturation of ink. You don't want to just do the whole quick little sponging. You want it to look bright and vibrant, and you want to make sure that you get those little areas where you've ripped really, really well, because that is where it's going to really showcase for you the different look that you're trying to create by doing the mountain look. So look at how beautiful that is. So each one's going to be different. Now you could keep using the same mask over and over again, but I wanted to use a different one for the purposes of my demonstration today so that you could see how easy that is to do. Next I'm going to bring in the Grapefruit Grove. And this, I am just going to be doing the same thing, sponging, and I'm going to kind of be going right over top of where a little bit of that purple is, that Highland Heather, and I'm just going to kind of blend this right into that. Isn't that beautiful? So imagine the different possibilities of cards you could create with different colors. You could do like a morning themed one with the more of the orange and the yellow and the reds, or the evening one, or just kind of like a shadow look. The possibilities are endless with this. I love it. The one thing I didn't show you guys yet is the sun. So I'm going to actually do the sun next. I should have done the sun probably before I got too far ahead of myself with the rest. But what I did for the sun is I punched out in advance a 3/4 inch circle punch, and I am just going to pull this down using it as a mask, also with another clean sponge. I'm going to sponge in my little sun right here. Look how awesome that is. And then I kept the piece that I punched out, and that I'm going to use right on top of there. And that is what I'm going to do then, hold that in place to do the sponging with my Balmy Blue. So let me bring in my Balmy Blue. Now you could also put a little bit of adhesive on that if you wanted to, but I'm pretty comfortable with just holding on to it. But if you're new at this, you could even put a little bit of a glue dot on there, or any kind of adhesive that you might think you need to be able to, so that you don't sponge on top of that. But I am just going to kind of sponge on top of it because it's going to be covering up the sun. You just don't want to let that move, or you're going to have a sun that is not yellow anymore. Now while I'm doing this, if you haven't checked out my website at kimsbasementbunch.com, I encourage you to do so. I post tutorials. Well, actually, I email tutorials every Friday to anybody on my mailing list. So if you join my mailing list, there's a sign up button right there for you to be able to do that at kimsbasementbunch.com. And then I also do Tuesday inspirational videos. And so you'd also get an email with that, and in my newsletter I also offer online classes and kits to go. So make sure you check me out. I'd love to earn your business and get you hooked on Stampin' Up. It's phenomenal. I love it. So there is a beautiful card that I created simply by just doing some sponging. Look how pretty that is. So from there, I'm going to be adhering all of these pieces together. Again, I've got all of these measurements on my website or on my blog post. The description for that post is in the, the link for the blog post is in the description of my video. So I encourage you to check it out, kimsbasementbunch.com. I also give away something every single Tuesday to anybody who comments on my video. So if you like my videos, comment. You could be one lucky winner. You do need to check back on my blog the following week though to see if you're a winner, but I do give something away every single week. And then lastly, what I did is I used our new black cord, and I just kind of tied a little bit of a cord wrap right around here. And I already have a piece cut in advance, and using our glue dots is what I use to secure this in place. I am just going to add a glue dot to each end of this cord, and I am going to put this around here like so. How pretty is that? It just adds a little bit of more detail to the card. And then I cut another little piece of that off, and I'm just going to tie it around. Now this little effect that I'm doing makes it look like I went all the way around this card. However, I did not, as you just saw what I did. But it's a nice way to save on your ribbon, but it also allows you to move this where you want it. It's kind of more like a little slip knot just put on there. And then in advance, I went ahead and heat embossed the Wake Up, Kick Butt, Repeat sentiment from the stamp set. And I am just going to adhere this down to the card. And the two punches that I used for this are the 1.5 and the 1 3/4. And look at that beautiful card. And then this whole piece is just going to get adhered down to my Grapefruit Grove piece of cardstock. And look at that black mat in between there. It just really makes this pop, doesn't it? So that is the card I wanted to share with you today. A cute, simple little masking technique of how you can incorporate some cards for inspiration. Looks like you got the mountains behind there, and I just love how this card looks. So again, check out my website at kimsbasementbunch.com for all the details, and I hope to see you back here next Tuesday. Have a great week. Bye.